cybersecurity knowledge. Before we commence the panel discussion, everyone, carry around me to remind all of you, please scan the QR code, which is shown on the screen by now, to drop your question. If you have any questions on your mind and you'd like to ask the questions directly to our speaker, feel free to drop your question from our platform via Slido. There will be a panel discussion on perspective of cyber fortification from different industry angles. With our honor to welcome our moderator, please join me to welcome on stage Mr. Serge, Christiaans, CISO and Airline Captain, Aviation Cybersecurity.
So, what do I do now? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. Welcome on board. I have a great panel today here. Very diverse panel, international panel even, and we're going to discuss cybersecurity. Let's keep it at that. A warm round of applause for my panel. Everybody please come up here, find a seat. Wherever you like. Free seating, no tickets. Okay, sound check, 1, 2, 3, everything working?
So scary for the spotlight.
So much light, eh? Yeah. Makes for good pictures, I guess. Okay, let's start off. I think I need to start introducing myself because the pictures are a little bit low and difficult to see for everybody, which is fine. I'm going to start not me, but I have to start with myself. My name is Serge. I'm from the Netherlands. I live and work in Singapore. I work in aviation and in cybersecurity as a CISO and as an airline captain. I'm here as a moderator. Actually, I don't know why, but I enjoy talking to people. I have a great panel here today. My background is military, 16 years, and then civil aviation, 19 years. And then I moved over to Singapore to fly and to do cybersecurity as well. In that combination, I'm very much engaged in aviation cybersecurity and especially airplane cybersecurity, how to hack an airplane, how to keep it safe, how to keep it secure. Aviation is critical infrastructure after all. I'm going to hand the mic over to Phoranee.
Wow, you present my name right.
I trained on that, and Pep helped me doing that. So please, tell me who you are, what you do, what is your role in your company, and why do you enjoy that?
Okay, my name is Phoranee Rhuwadhana. Right now, I'm working with K-Bank, Kasikornbank. I provide assurance service and consulting service. This is a new name of auditing service in internal. Right now, I'm helping my organization to create awareness on the cybersecurity, how to ensure everyone engaged in this assignment, in this role, to make sure that everyone know about cybersecurity. And another role, I'm working as a Chile Tech Director in Isaka Bangkok chapter. So I have to help everyone, women, men, LBTG, whatsoever, to come in to work in cybersecurity area.
That is nice. So you're in the Thailand Isaka chapter. Yep. Oh, I'm in the Singapore Isaka chapter. Nice to meet you. Thank you very much. Tithirat, can I ask you?
Hello, I'm Tithirat, Siripattanalert, Chief Information Security Officer of True Digital Group. So we protect the security for the Chatchalermpun group and also for the external services, more than 60 clients and also in 10 countries worldwide. So I enjoy use knowledge and skill and experience from what we have to provide an advice to the client to help them uplift cybersecurity measures in order to be prevented from the cyber attack.
Thank you very much. You sound like a very busy lady. Thank you. Over to Pep.
Hi, I'm Pepijn. I'm also Dutch, living in Thailand now for 10 years, Asia for about 17. I am the head of cybersecurity, CISO for AIS, AIS Group. So I take care of all the subsidiaries, all the different parts of the business. Also, some cybersecurity services that we are selling to our external parties. As you asked, why do I enjoy working in my role? So as some of the people here might know, my background is mainly in banking, financial sector. I made the shift into telco, actually to find out what's going on there. And it is a very diverse environment. So AIS is on the journey as a lot of other telcos from telco to techco. And that entire transformation has a lot of challenges, not just on the technology side, but also on the cyber side. So what we are looking at is really partnering up and enabling some of that transformation. And that is one of the things that I actually really enjoy doing.
Sounds very complicated. Thank you very much. Chusak, may I?
Hello. Oh, thank you, Sake. My name is Chusak Tunvongvinis. My position is Senior Vice President of Security and Cybersecurity, working with ST Telemedia Global Data Center Thailand. My responsibility is for physical security and cybersecurity. Okay. Why I am happy with this position. I am a disciplined man. Okay, I have to make everything under the rule and practice under standard. And I love to do it, like protect everything, secure everything for everyone. And for now, it's for my company, for my salary. Okay. That's why I select to use to work with this position.
Thank you. Interesting. Surachai, can I ask you?
Yeah, my name is Surachai Chatchalermpun. I'm the CSPO from Huawei, Thailand. CSPO is a country cybersecurity and privacy officer. My role is a CISO and the DPO as a PDPA Thai laws. I'm ex from the CISO from Krung Thai Banks. I think we have the same background from banking. I think the enjoy life. I think my work is very enjoy because I work closely with the NCSA. It's a national cybersecurity agency to cultivate the cyber talent. We have many more courses. We work together with NCSA, so we build up for nation. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so Thailand a few years ago introduced a new PDPA, the new data privacy law. Does that give you a lot of headaches?
I think it need to balance for the good news. We have the laws and the international laws. We reduce the sanction from the other country. We can do more for this. But on the other hand, we need to have more enforcement. This will be great. It will be matter. Yeah.
But security and privacy can be going along together without conflict. And it will be serve, one action maybe serve two purposes. That will be easy for him.
Yeah, if you combine it, it makes actually sense because in my experience, the CISO in a large company is somewhere near the IT people, but the DPO or the CPO, whatever it is on the other side at legal often. So then you have a data breach or a cybersecurity incident. We're pulling out the incident playbook, and suddenly these two people have to work together, but they never met. They don't know who they are. So what do you do then? So to have it in one role is actually perfect, but it makes your role very complicated.
Yeah, so in our organization, we fixed that by having the DPO report to me. So I am the boss of the DPO in this case. And I'm also getting data governance as a responsibility into my team. So what we actually found out is you can't have data privacy without security. So you need security that can then drive your data privacy. Once you do so many different things on data privacy and data security already, you already take care of about 50% of all the data governance kind of procedures. It makes more sense of bringing data governance under that same pillar as well. So that's the move that we are doing, for instance, and trying to make it more sensible.
And sounds very mature to do it that way, and makes sense as well. Yeah. losing data and having a breach on your PDPA compliance doesn't always mean that there was a cyber incident. Can be two different things. I can just have a USB with all the data and give it to somebody. Then we have an incident on data privacy, but not a cyber incident. So they are related, but not necessarily go together hand in hand. Correct, eh? Well, thank you very much for this round of introduction. At the end, we will have some time for questioning. There's a QR code over there. We use, what are we using today? Slido, yeah. So if you have any questions, 10 minutes, 15 minutes before we end, we give you all the opportunity to bug us with different questions. For now, thanks for the introduction. What I would like to know, in this very diverse group of people working in diverse industries, what are your biggest, your largest cybersecurity challenges? What keeps you up at night? What's your nightmare in cybersecurity? Who wants to start?
I can start. One of the things that has me mainly worried is legacy. I think that if you're looking at the larger companies, and I think all of us are part of large companies, we have a lot of old systems, and those are still running a lot of production. And it's always difficult to keep them up to date, keep them patched. Sometimes they're end of life, then you need to replace them, and that takes a lot of time. It's very easy to think, oh, just install the patch. But if your system is 20 years old, it might not work. You might not even be able to get a patch. And if you're now looking at attackers, they are getting quicker and quicker in exploiting vulnerabilities. And it takes more and more time to install the patches, so you get this big gap of problem area. And I think that is one of the things that is a worry, I think, not just to us. I think that's just an overall problem for any large company, and I think banking has similar challenges. So that is one of the things, and that leads to all the other parts. So I think the main worry for most companies is ending up in the newspaper, right? I mean, data breaches are, well, data is leaked here all over the place all the time. So I don't think the people actually care that much if their data gets leaked, but if it's your company, it still ends up in the newspaper. People do get worried, and that causes problems. And I think that is one of the main worries that I would have, ending up in the newspaper.
Legacy, absolutely.
On top of that is the new technique and tactics of the threat actors. So the fact that the threat actors always evolve the tactic and techniques, like we already fixed these vulnerabilities, they're gonna find out the way, the loophole that we have, or even figure out the new tactic to penetrate the system. Spear phishing, what's next? Compromise VPN, what next? Yeah, so that's keep up the challenge for the cybersecurity team.
Very good point. Thank you for that. Threat actors keep learning. They learn faster than we defenders do. And we have very sophisticated nation-state APTs at the moment, harassing our companies and stealing data, espionage, war preparations. It's all happening. We know, and it's a problem. Good one, thank you.
For me, it is a lie alert on 3 a.m. in the morning from the board, saying that, oh, there is a cybersecurity in some country. What will happen to our bank? Could you please come up to me 8 a.m. tomorrow and present to me, do we have enough protection to prevent us from that kind of event? That is my nightmare. I cannot sleep after that message.
Yeah, because you have to prepare a presentation. Wow, yeah, does that happen often?
Not quite often, but it's now like a normal life.
You still enjoy your role, right?
Yeah.
Okay, just to be sure.
I think the biggest challenge in nowadays is a trust, for the customer trust. I think first of all, we need to gain more trust for the customer and the citizen as well. So I think the reputation risk, this will be the valuable asset. Yeah. So we do anything to keep the trust. Yeah.
Yeah, erosion of trust in general in the internet and in our reputations is at stake, especially with deepfakes and AI now creating misinformation, disinformation campaigns at such a high rate and reality rate as well. It's going to be a big problem for 2024 and the years to come. also going to be abused in elections, a lot of elections this year and next year. So let's see how we protect against that. That's a separate discussion actually, but good point. Thank you.
Okay, instead of the words, I think we should to be prepared and practice always. I mean, keep on going to maintenance or prevent, how say, tracking all your system. What is the thing that will make the vulnerability? Okay, that's it. If like a security guard, if you patrol, everything is locked, you can sleep well. Okay, be prepared.
Wouldn't that be great? Yeah. So doing a round, I hear patching, legacy, I hear trust, erosion of trust, I hear reactive on other incidents as well. And yeah, I think that's what I heard basically, yeah. But we all have the same problems, it appears, for breaches. So when we talk about all these cybersecurity headaches, do we also know who's causing these headaches? Who are the threat actors that are actually targeting a specific industry? Is there a specific industry? Are there specific threat actors? Do you know who is harassing you?
I think there are a diversity of threat actors. You have the financial motivated. I think if you're looking at the total revenue that cybercrime drives, it's about, depending on the source, somewhere between 6 and 8 trillion US dollars per year. There's a lot of money to be had. And it feels, I take it at least for the cyber criminals, as a victimless crime, so they can easily execute it. So that's a big part of it. And I think that most of us are, in one way or another, involved in CII, so critical infrastructure, and then you are a prime target for nation-state actors. And then geopolitics, you get some hacktivists, potentially, right? So we had a threat here in Thailand after we, in Thailand, openly came out as supportive of Israel. A lot of Indonesian threat actors started disrupting services. But that goes up and down. I think the major headache is mainly actually financial gain. Nation states typically come in for a certain reason. They don't want to get seen, so they don't disrupt directly. So it doesn't impact the business as much, although it might be a very big problem down the line. You typically have more time to get them out and things like that, where financial actors are there to cause problem because they want to get money out of it. So I think the financial actors are one of the main headaches. The nation states are the most difficult to get rid of.
Agree. Yeah, totally. Right, yeah. And on top of that, I think for most organization, large organization or even small organization, the threat actor would be the ransomware threat actor, right? Which they try to encrypt the data and ransom for the money. So even for the large organization that they already have the security control in place, the threat actor will try to find the loophole and the way out in order to be able to penetrate the system and perform the ransomware action, right? We can see from many cases, right, for ransomware cases. And even for the small organization, right, which usually they do not have any security control in place. In the past 6 months, there's a significant increase in the number of security incidents for the small organization. And since they don't have the security control in place, so it's likely that their service operation will be disrupted. Some organization might be disrupted for like 2 weeks before they can come back to provide the normal service operations. Yeah, so ransomware is still the main threat actor for most organizations.
That is a great topic, of course, ransomware. We could go on about that one.
I think if you say
for a long
threat
time.
actor, I think that is mainly SME though. I think the larger organizations typically have things better in order, get hit less often. That said, there have been a couple of very big cases in ransomware, but they are still relatively rare. It's mainly the SMEs that I'm seeing being hit. Typically because they don't have the detection that much, right? So in our case, we see EDR logs. Hey, there's malware, we wiped the malware, or there was ransomware, but before it was activated, it's gone. SMEs, I think, have a harder time there. So I do agree, it's a big thing. It's, I think, a very big moneymaker.
Just add one more point. For some organization, they already have the control in place, but there's a shadow IT. Sometimes the business unit outsource some part of the IT system for the third party to operate and manage. And IT system, IT department doesn't know about that system. So finally, they got the ransomware.
Yeah. Gray
That's
IT
why
is a
audit come
problem.
in and see that.
Exactly. So you plug it out. But I learned in the military a long time ago, you can have your defenses in order. That doesn't mean you're secure. All right? You can have your audits and your cybersecurity in place, but that doesn't mean you're not going to be hacked. Let's please be all very clear about that. Defense never stops, and they will always find a way. Just be proactive. Ransomware, however, I just recently read a report, but it's out for a long time. SMEs that get attacked by ransomware, after a year, they're gone. Most of them never recover from the event. They just don't recover.
Yeah.
And SMEs are, in general, 80% of a country's economy. We need to protect our SMEs better. It's very important. But like Pep already said, they are immature. They're a small organization. They don't have money. They don't have the tools. But we need to find a way to help our SMEs and protect them not only from ransomware, but also from data breaches.
We start from awareness because most of them think that cyber attack is not relevant to their organization. But once it happens, then they realize that their business can be devastated. Yeah.
Absolutely. In aviation, we have this, what do I call it? In aviation, we say there's two types of pilots. One type that has tried to land with his gear up, and the other type that still has to try it. And the same goes for SMEs. There's two types of SMEs. SMEs that have been ransomwared and those who have not yet. And those who have not yet still don't understand the risks. Those who have are too late because they never recover. And we need to find a way to do that.
I think also a very important point you made about awareness is I think that most people still think I only get hacked if I am a victim, if I get out there, right? If people know that I am there, so I must be a target, I must be an obvious target. People don't realize that most of these attacks actually happen by automated tools that scan for vulnerabilities. They find a vulnerability, they install an initial access, they sell the initial access to somebody that pays for it, and then the ransomware comes in. So you don't need to be an obvious target. You only need to have a vulnerability exposed to the internet and you get hit. And I think that is a part of the awareness that a lot of the SMEs still don't understand. I am just a small little shop. Who cares about taking me down?
Gentlemen, any to add?
I think to add on another threat actor is an insider threat. I think this is a very good point because if, for example, like the high privilege administrative, they have more high privilege, right? They can get access the critical system easier than the hacker outside. So we need to put proactive control for this area for the high privilege. So I think this is very important for the insider threat. For the data breach or data leak, that will be easy happen by this group. For the employee, for the management, they can super privilege to get access all the sensitive data. So this area need to be focused. Yeah.
Good point. Thank you. How? I mean, on social media, it's very simple to find somebody who's going to be fired tomorrow. Right? You find this guy in a bar, probably drinking. You give him a few $1,000s. He gives his password, and you're in. How do you protect against that? Because this is, for me, one of the biggest headaches to find something against insider threat. What would be? How do we start with this?
Starts with identity and access management. That's one part of it. And you will have to start getting other aspects into your authentication process. So kind of like risk-based or attribute-based, conditional-based access. So it really becomes user ID and password, or even user ID and MFA on itself is no longer enough. You actually have to look at other components to this as well. Is this a person that is normally always working in the office and suddenly logging in from another country? Maybe that is a leaked account in that case. So things like that.
Could be a VPN.
Could be, yes. There's all kinds of reasons you could have it, but you have to look at different scores. So I think with this, I think now we are very much relying on one aspect, user ID password or user ID MFA, to say yes. And you already mentioned deepfakes. I think the same applies there. We need to look at risk-based scoring of any attempt to do anything. And based on a score, we decide yes or no. And just one factor, or even when you talk about MFA, multi-factor, it's not enough. That can be replayed, that can be stolen. So
With that, we need to have the capabilities to collect the logs, right? And have the user behavior analytics in order to identify the suspicious or anomaly behavior for each user.
But then you need to be fast.
Correct, yeah. We need to have the 24/7 and be able to respond within an hour.
Yes.
I would like to shift to another side. You're from the technology side, and maybe I'm from the process side. What I found is even you have a fancy thing, but the person not changed. So sometimes I use the technique like tone from the top. Go to talk to the CEO, go to talk to the board. You have to be a role model. You cannot say that, oh, I'm very busy, I not have time to change the passwords every 90 days. I cannot forget, I may forget about the password. But you have to be a role model. So you have to show that, and then other people will roll out from what you be had as a role model for the company.
Yeah, the process aspect of insider threats. You talked about a technical guard. I think I know what we do in Singapore. If you are being fired, you're not coming back to the company. You're being fired. You go into 3 months garden leave. You leave your laptop, your tech, your passwords. You go home. You get paid for 3 months, but you're not in the office. Because this is then where people get frustrated and where they are prone for insider threats. I think that's a very good mitigation. Next to, of course, identity management, as you said both. Very nice. But it's from a threat actor perspective, it's cheap. It's easy. Interesting.
Another point to add is sometimes if you don't communicate well with the business side or the communication side, sometimes they got from IT that, oh, we have invest in some feature that can protect from the security, from cyber, and they want to get it outside as a marketing campaign, and it boasts thing that may be bigger than whatever IT can do to get a marketing sense. That is hurt to organization because it's lure the hacker to come to try to test. So right, as a role, I have to kind of compromise them between marketing size and the reality and what to lure the hacker to come in.
I think you mentioned a very important thing there, right? So cybersecurity still is seen as something weird, something outside of the normal business, right? So it's something special, and we have a special group of nerds that nobody understands, and they do something and they protect everything. You throw money in and suddenly we are safe. I think that is a mentality that needs to change, and that is actually a culture shift that needs to start from the top. So I totally agree. Similarly, when you are talking about incidents will happen. How many of our companies do we have boards that think 0 incidents this year, KPI for cybersecurity? It's an impossible KPI. So we need to help shift that mindset away, right? Away from the moat thinking from the past. We have a castle with a wall and we built a wall higher and nobody can go in. And we really need to know that the attacker is already in, right? So we are most likely already compromised. We are just waiting for the impact to happen. And with that mindset comes a different idea of how to invest and how to build projects and how to develop your business. And that shift is something that we really need to focus on, I think, from a non-technical perspective.
Yeah, so you're mentioning assume breached, which is a great philosophy. Do we all feel we're doing this in our companies, assuming breach and acting on that?
Yes, so, sorry. Yeah, we prepared on the response, right? So just in case of the incident, we already be prepared what kind of message we're gonna put in place for the PR, and also we perform a tabletop exercise in order for all stakeholder in the organization understand their roles and responsibility, and we prepared. We also perform like attack simulation in order to understand the weakness that we have. Even we put in place many security controls, but can they be bypassed, or have we configured it properly? Yeah, in order to test the readiness and the strength of the security controls that we have implemented.
Wow, it sounds like you have your incident response very mature. That's good to hear. How is this in the other companies, incident response?
We did like Kun Tithirat said, we have the crisis drill, we have the role play. We invite the business part to join not only the IT team we have the role play that it. But I think the most important thing is like the PR. When the bad news happen, we need to handle in timely manner. How to respond in the media. I think this is I think not only the technical skill is a soft skill to communicate what is a fact and opinion to manage the media.
Another thing that we should be prepared in advance, for example, is the asset classification to understand that in case of the attack to this group of servers, can we contain it? Or do we have a cluster? Can we contain this one and use the rest? And then what if the whole cluster is compromised? Can we shut down the service for how long? And what would happen to the business? So if we make it thoroughly prepared, we will be able to respond in real time and be able to stop the breach. Otherwise, we're not confident whether what is the action we can respond to the threat actor.
Another point is collaboration. We cannot good at only us. We have to help each other. Like for the bank, we have to cooperate among the bank, across the industry, across in the nationwide, like with the NCSA to do the drill, to do the prepare, to do the anything that can help us learn from friends, learn from colleagues, something like that.
I think that was also very interesting. So late 2020, I think some of the people here are aware of it. We had problems with fake base stations here that actually started attacking mobile phones, and especially the SMS mailboxes of people's phone, especially K-Bank was one of them. I know of that because I was actually, when that started happening, I was at a conference together with Kong, the Security Operations Center guy from you, and we started talking what's going on here. So the initial thing that we did was connect the SOCs together, have these people work together, share information, try to find out what's going on. Initially, we did not know this was fake base stations. Then we worked together with True to find out where these messages that were on the network, we can't find them. And step by step, we came to the conclusion, oh, this is network attack, right? This is a attack on the network. Then we started working with NCSA. We started working with the police. We got some people from Huawei in to actually help figuring out how do we do triangulation, how do we find these perpetrators. Then with the police, CCTV images, we could capture the guys, they got arrested. Still quite a lot of damage was done to the banks, especially I think K-Bank was one of the most hit banks there. But we did collaborate a lot across almost everybody sitting here to find this and stop this. And I think this was a very good example of how collaboration doesn't need to be a shameful thing, like, oops, we did something wrong, oh, we did something bad. No, actually that collaboration helps stop cybercrime.
You didn't do anything bad necessarily. I mean, it can be a mistake. Doesn't have to be on purpose. Can be a hole in your procedures or technology not overlapping. Like I say, 100% defense doesn't exist. You will be breached, and if you assume breach, then yes, you should have a great incident response plan, which is exactly the reason that most SMEs do not survive. They don't have an incident response plan. They are really hoping, praying they're not being breached, but they will, of course.
To learn from our friend in other industrial about the threat and hacker, what did they do? Learning and sharing all information together will help us to make it better in protection, prepare. That's mostly we need to do.
Yeah.
To do.
I think that one challenge that we are facing is not just us. I think that we as professionals, we are willing to share information.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of our companies, our management might think differently. I think there is still this idea that if you're the victim, I did something wrong, right? So I would be ashamed of saying this. And I think this is the same problem with scams that are happening here in Thailand. People losing money, they don't go to the police because they're ashamed. I was targeted, I am ashamed. And I think we need to break that. We have to get through that. We have to basically say we are all victims here. We should share to combat back. And I think that is a message that we really need to get out into our management. Because I think this is not the way that companies typically think. We have our corporate secrets, and people can use this as something to discredit us, right? But we need to break through it. And similarly with scammers, people need to start reporting things to the police.
I would like to add another angle. It's about the endurance, and the woman will do this thing very, very good. Because this kind of thing, we have to keep communicate. Right now, I still have a line from my friend asking about the SMS thing. Why it happened? Why my SMS get from K-Bank to do something? Why? So it's kind of, you have to persistent to keep communicate the same thing and keep the message kind of the same. Otherwise, if you change the message or did not have a formality of message, people will not trust in you or trust in your message, something like that.
Yeah, so it sounds that we're also spending a lot of time in educating your clients, educating your board, educating your team. I spend almost 80% of my time on education. If it's up or down or left or right, it doesn't matter. It's a mindset that we're trying to achieve because we have the technology. We can have the procedures. It's the people, to me, that is really the challenge in cybersecurity nowadays. Find a way to make them see the problem like I do, so we can work together. And I don't want to bend them into my opinions, but we need to see the landscape and the threat actors and the holes in our organization for cybersecurity. And that's why we have audit as well. Very important part of the cybersecurity landscape, I think, at least for the companies I worked for.
I think that you missed a very important part in education. That's customers or society at large. I think K-Bank had this quick survey in their banking app. Are you aware of what you're doing? So you make sure that you don't falling for tricks. I know that Huawei is helping NCSA with a couple of educational aspects. True is helping with educational aspects. AIS, we wrote a curriculum for 29,000 schools to be aware of cybersecurity, cyberbullying. So I think there is a lot more that companies can do in education, also into society. I think that is a good point because we are all large companies. We have big customer bases, so we have a big reach, and we can definitely leverage that.
I absolutely agree. I do feel as well that education, a good education, would solve a lot of problems. It will also solve the problems of misinformation and disinformation, nation-state actors trying to twist our minds for whatever war is going on or even elections. How do you solve the effect of a disinformation campaign on your citizens? That's a very difficult question, but the answer is only one word: education. You need to educate your people to get them to verify the information that they're being flooded with, I think. You also touched upon stigma. That is culture. How do you change that?
One of the things that we did is really tone from the top. So you start talking with senior management, you start explaining how culture can influence actions of people. Then you start working on how do you define what your culture will be, right? So one of the things is transparency. I think it's a very important thing. We have internal incidents that occur. Typically, you get a bit of outage. It's not necessarily a security incident, but still something happens because of human behavior. You communicate, you get people together, you start using this as examples in your awareness training, in your monthly meetings and things like that. So that is how we started slowly getting that in. Making sure you can get people in the business understanding cybersecurity. So we started a cybersecurity champions program with people in IT, people in the business that have a position where they have 20%, 5% depending on the business unit they're in, of their job is on cybersecurity. So they become the champion in that team and they carry that responsibility and try to communicate that within the teams. So those are things that I've done, for instance, we have done, and I think some other companies are doing similar or slightly different. It depends on the culture your company has, right? So there is no one size fits all when it comes to culture. It needs to fit your organization, but it starts always from the top and goes down.
I think spear phishing simulation is most organizations have implemented. So the first time they launched the spear phishing simulation, 30% of the staff is likely to click on the link. But when we simulate the spear phishing more often, finally we might get like 10%, 7%. So by performing the simulation, it creates the awareness of the cybersecurity for the staff. And when they receive the suspicious email in the future, they're going to contact cybersecurity team.
I have a very funny anecdote with that. We ran a phishing simulation in our organization. We had a lot of people that fell for it, right? So we did a communication after that. 2 weeks later, HR decided to do a Gallup survey. So Gallup sent from their email address, only 25% of the staff actually clicked on the link. And HR came to us asking whether we could communicate that this was an actual legit email. So funny anecdote, it works. It does work, yes.
Great.
I think for the awareness education last year, Huawei, we did with the NCSA, we went to the Khanom Pitaya, it's a southern primary school. We start from as young as possible. We start at the kids online safe, and I think the secondary school students, they have more awareness, and they can bring this awareness go to the family. I think we can start from the younger generation and the family. I think this way will be cultivate the culture sustainable. Yeah.
Yeah, so it takes time. We need to start young, and it takes a full generation probably, because let's be honest, for the past 10 years, we didn't do much in educating our clients, our citizens, our people, or our employees. We didn't do much. Now we have this problem. So we need to start as young as possible. Like you say, it'll take a full generation, and then hopefully the next generation is more cyber resilient.
From my side, hello. In Kbank, we try to do this thing. In the old day, we try to give a stick to the one who get the cybersecurity attack, fail in the pitching drill. They have to come to training. I have a lunch with the board to get a very pressure that you do the wrong thing because you fail in a pitching drill. But we found out that it doesn't help. Right now, we give a carrot to them. Oh, you passed in the past. Or you failed in the past. But you can be our role model in the future. You learn how to not to do the same thing again, and be the role model to talk to others, teach each other not to do the same mistake as you. And it helped a lot. People feel not shame anymore to talk about their failure. They feel proud that they have an experience to share to others and help others not to fail as them.
Oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Can you hear me? Yeah, that works. Huh? It's okay. Very interesting addition. Thank you very much. How are we doing in the audience? Everybody sleeping already? Did we talk enough? Too much, maybe? No? I need to round it off a little bit, because I want to give you guys also opportunities to ask a question. So one last question for everybody. What do we want our lovely audience today to take home from our diverse discussion with diverse backgrounds?
So I think for this year, the government, they promote the cloud first strategy, cloud first policy. So I think, you know, cloud is a very benefit for the business to scale up, right? But on the other hand, that will have another risk. So that's why Huawei and the NCSA, we will have the cyber training program for the cloud engineering and the cloud security. And the good opportunity is free for you. That we aim for 10,000 for the student to join this program. So I would like to invite you to join this for your team, for your student that would like to learn for the cloud security. That is very good opportunity to join, because you know the cloud, if you miss configuration, the data of data will be leaked easily. So that's why the cloud it will need to be more take action and take it serious. Yeah.
Great initiative, and of course we all know that cloud security is very complex, not in the first place because we don't understand it. A lot of people think we put it in the cloud and it's safe, but you need to do your own configuration as well. Where can people sign up for this lovely initiative?
You can see on the Huawei website, Huawei Facebook, we will promote this program as soon as possible. Yeah.
Great. Everybody made notes? Good. Chusak.
Cyber security, like a big problem, big issue, because we didn't know about it. if we didn't know about it too much, it's really huge problem. Just come back to sitting and thinking about before respond with this, about what is the risk that you facing, what you want to do. Okay, is it defect to what are you doing, and it's plan to your budget to do it. You need to learn. You need to learn it before. If you found the firefighting and you don't want how to stop it, it will make it bigger. Just come back to sitting first. Not only from other people say, oh, really scary about it, that you need to come back to see what is your intellectual property or your property need to protect, and plan to protect. Not just go to the shopping and buy this one. Okay, we save. It's not.
So I understand you're saying we need to focus on what we really need.
Yeah.
We need to have the basics in
Before.
place, and that is basically
Step by
risk
step.
management, right?
If you don't know, you can get from advice or vendor, any vendor that they have the products and guideline for you, and you make a decision by you how many money you will invest for this state of the risk. Okay, today money no money, we just put some protects first. From the low friends to next year I have a high friend, and the last year I have the cover dome, big dome.
Yeah, well said. Thank you very
Yeah.
much. Yeah.
Along those lines, talking about risk. So risk is likelihood versus impact, right? I think that we all realize that bringing down likelihood is very difficult. We have a lot of vulnerabilities, a very big attack surface, and attackers are getting better and better, quicker. We can't patch on time, we have legacy. So likelihood is difficult to reduce. You can't take an 80-20 approach in cybersecurity. 99-1 still means 1% is vulnerable, an attacker will get in, and you have a problem. So you need to work on that impact side. And for that, you need to start communicating. You need to work within your organization, change the culture, assume breach, because likelihood can't go down. We need to work on the impact. That means that you have to realize that you will be breached. So that mentality shift is required in senior management. Don't just throw money at a control, at a box that is reducing likelihood, because we have all now assumed likelihood can't really change much. It is a cultural shift. I think that will be one of the main challenges for us for the next coming years, because culture shift takes time. That can take all the way between 3 to 7 years, depending on the outgoing situation. If you just had an incident, it's quicker. If you didn't have a big incident yet, it's going to take some time.
Goes over generations as well, because your senior leadership actually at some point first needs to move out and be replaced by the new generation. That takes time. Good point, thank you. Tithirat.
So from the statistic, today the threat actor takes only 84 minutes in order to complete the attack, right? From the start to the complete of the attack, right? 12 minutes faster than last year. So that means that we need to be able to monitor the attack 24/7, and we should be able to detect it in 1 minute, and then investigate in 10 minutes and stop it by an hour, right? With that, we need to have a team to monitor any suspicious activity 24/7, and we need to be able to investigate, analyze, and is any suspicious activity, we should be able to have the automated response in order to stop the breach within an hour. That's what I would like to share with everyone.
That's a great takeaway. We need to be faster in our response. Absolutely true. Thank you.
My last word is, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility. Protect yourself, protect your family, protect your friend, protect your organization, protect your country, protect your world.
Protect our freedom and our democracy. I'll finish the line for you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for these great takeaways.